We've covered the new Harry Potter show on our channel plenty of times before, and unsurprisingly, it's making headlines yet again. This time, it's about a pretty major casting choice. In fact, it could be one of the biggest Harry Potter related news for fans for at least the next few days. While the officials from the show have refused to comment anything about it, it is reported that the role of our beloved headmaster, Albus Dumbledore, is being given to the highly decorated actor, John Lithgow. Yep, you heard that right. Winston Churchill is now stepping into Albus Dumbledore's shoes, and, well, there's a mixed discourse on the internet about it. Now, if you've been following this channel, you already know we've been dissecting this show from every possible angle. We've talked about the things to expect and, more importantly, the things not to expect. We've broken down what's wrong with the entire reboot concept, and we've collectively worried about whether this series is going to be another nostalgia-fueled cash grab or something actually worthwhile. And now, this latest piece of news just adds another layer to the ongoing discussion. To get more of the insider scoop and the latest developments about the upcoming Harry Potter reboot, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to our channel? First things first, Dumbledore is not an easy character to cast. We've seen time and time again how central Dumbledore is to the franchise, which makes the stakes of casting and acting him far higher than any other character in the show. Richard Harris set the gold standard with his wise and gentle portrayal in the first two films. But then Michael Gambon took over with a more forceful, sometimes questionable interpretation. Yeah, we all know the "did you put your name on the goblet of fire" meme. Let's not forget Jude Law as young Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts series, which, frankly, was an amazing choice. He was the perfect blend of both Harris and Gambon, and did a fairly good job at keeping their legacy intact. So, where does Lithgow fit in? On paper, an absolute unit of a choice. I mean, he's a pretty strong fit for Dumbledore technically. The guy has serious acting chops, he's won more Emmys than we can count, and has been in so many different projects. The best part is, if you've seen him in Dexter, you know he can pull off layered, morally complex characters. But is that what we really want? Here's the real question. Can he capture the quiet wisdom, eccentric humor, and underlying steel that make Dumbledore who he is? And more importantly, does Lithgow mean we're getting a very American-sounding Dumbledore? Lithgow is an absolute powerhouse of an actor, and there's absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind about his acting prowess. However, his casting as Dumbledore goes beyond just that. J.K. Rowling's self-imposed rule on the casting choices for the franchise has always been to get British, Irish, and Scottish actors for her cinematic universe. Lithgow, on the other hand, is as American as, well, an apple pie, really. So while this sort of opens up more doors for the casting diversity, it also casts a sense of uncertainty for the future actors. Now, what's in an accent, right? It can be easily learned and mimicked when needed to, right? And seeing how Lithgow literally won an Emmy for his role as Winston Churchill, he's definitely going to do a heck of a good job with someone as important as Dumbledore. But will he be able to pull it off? Only time will tell. There's also the matter of how HBO is approaching this whole show. If they're going for a near identical adaptation to the books, then Lithgow's casting already raises some eyebrows. He's 78, which means if they're really committing to a 7-season structure, 1 season per book, he'll be into his 80s by the time we get into the Deathly Hallows. We've seen how that went with Richard Harris. Will Lithgow have the energy to play the charismatic man that Dumbledore is a few years into the line? Again, only time will tell. This casting also tells us something about the direction HBO is taking with this new reboot. Clearly, they're not afraid to shake things up. There were rumors about Mark Strong or even someone like Mark Rylance taking on the role, both of whom would have been very traditional choices. But Lithgow is an absolute wild card here, which thankfully opens up a lot more doors for some casting choices. Ever since Snape's casting announcement, fans have had all sorts of mixed feelings about the show. Some like the new choice of Papa Escido, others are desperately wishing for someone more canon-friendly. They believe casting Lithgow will essentially pave the way for other, more fitting American actors to take their rightful place in the series. movies. For example, maybe Adam Driver, with his pale skin and greasy hair, would do an absolutely amazing job of revamping Alan Rickman's version. But then again, we still don't know who's playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione yet. This casting choice suggests HBO isn't just trying to carbon copy the original films, they're going for something different, which, depending on how you feel about the idea of a reboot in the first place, is either exciting or absolutely terrifying. Ultimately, recasting someone as iconic as Dumbledore is, and will always be controversial. But what does this particular development mean for the rest of the cast? If HBO is willing to take a big swing with Lithgow, what does that mean for Snape, McGonagall, Voldemort, and the trio? We are all understandably cautious, skeptical, but just as curious. Unfortunately, we'll only get answers to our burning questions when the show actually premieres. Till then, we're stuck with little tidbits of information that manage to escape the official void. But don't worry, here at TV Tales, we're going to be keeping a close eye on how things unfold. You can bet we'll be covering every major update right here on this channel. We've already covered this show extensively on this channel, from casting rumors to why this reboot might be a bad idea. So if you're new here, you might want to check out those videos if you want the full picture. That's all for today, and I'll catch you next time.